Brian, you've been very vocal, especially on our show, about the momentum and the energy within BYU Athletics right now. And certainly football plays a huge role in that. So to be here and experience Football Media Day, what has your juices flowing today when it comes to the excitement about BYU football?
Spencer, it's always exciting when you start talking about football, because it just means fall is close. The season's on the horizon, and we have great momentum. I talk about it often, and it starts and stops with Kalani Sitake. He's one of the most respected men in the room. I just left a room with Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State, Scott Frost from UCF. You had these great coaches in the room. The respect in the room for Kalani Sitake, when you get to walk the path with a coach like that, that's what gets me super excited. And then, like, I look at these 5 players that we brought down here and was with them last night, and I'm thinking, you know what, if we're going to battle in this world of college sports, I want to go to battle with those guys. And that's what gets my juices flowing, is I just think that we have great leadership.
Well, let's call a timeout just for a second on football, because I want to bring up something Brett Yormark talked about when he referenced BYU's multiple cross-country national championships, and then Megan Hunter as the winner of the Bob Bowlesby Award. What did it mean to you as the athletic director to hear those names and those teams mentioned by the commissioner of the conference at Football Media Days?
Yeah, it's exciting and it's humbling, right? And for me, the thought that we get to be in this game of college sports with some of the best coaches and student athletes in the game, and to have Megan Hunter called out, it's one of the great stories to me in the history of college sports. For her to come forth triumphant like she has, to win at the level that she's winning, is both miraculous and inspiring. And then she's coached by one of the great coaches in all of the sport, Diljit Taylor, who's an unbelievable leader of women and empowering women right now across the world. You have Ed Eyestone winning national championships. They showed highlights of both of them lifting the trophy. I think that there's great respect in the Big 12, but I think that's a tribute to all of our coaches, all of those that have been involved in preparing us to enter the Big 12. We always felt like when we came into the Big 12, we would be prepared to compete at the highest level right off the bat. And that's a tribute to our coaches and student athletes over time that prepared us so well to make this move. And now to feel like we're nationally relevant, to feel like we are chasing greatness together is super inspiring. And to be able to do it the BYU way and not shy away from exactly who we are and what we represent, that was also in the messaging from Kalani and others about who we are, right? It's on the forefront of everybody's minds. And I love that we have coaches and others that are going to stand up with confidence and talk about the greatness of BYU for precisely who we are and who we represent.
Well, the theme that you have presented here is great respect for all of these coaches, and certainly for Kalani. So going back to Coach Sitake, what do you feel like is creating a scenario where players are just naturally gravitating toward him more and to BYU and are willing to embrace the honor code and what BYU Athletics is all about? What's happening there with Coach Sitake and the culture?
Yeah, I think that over time he's built a culture of greatness on the football field, but people are starting to understand who he is as a human being, and they want to be a part of it. His leadership is off the charts. It's next level. And to hear our student athletes talk about him, I slipped into some interviews and heard our 5 student athletes talking about why they choose BYU and why recruits are choosing BYU. Spencer, we're seeing a remarkable movement right now in nationally recognized recruits choosing BYU precisely for what BYU is and what we represent. Like there's a clear reason why they're choosing BYU. We feel like it's a competitive advantage. The honor code, the representation of everything that's good in life. I think that's precisely why these student athletes are choosing BYU, our current student athletes, but you can feel it. It's a culture that's been built and where they really feel like they can prepare for and get ready for the NFL. chase their dreams on the football field, but also prepare for life and go make a difference and go change the world. Like, it doesn't get any better. And it gets me super excited. You know, we've got, like, you start talking about recently, there was a big announcement, Ryder Lyons going on TV telling the world that he's choosing BYU. AJ DeBanza choosing BYU. Kihei Akina, one of the great golfers in the world, says, I want to be at BYU. Jane Hendegren, who's breaking all sorts of records, saying, I want to be at BYU. I think that there's a clarity of why they're choosing BYU, and I think it's because they understand exactly what BYU is, what it represents to the world, and all the goodness and the sponsoring institution. It's really exciting. That's what gets me super excited, is we can go and chase greatness, but do it in a way that's going to bring positive light to not only the athletic department of the university, but the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. When you put all that together, like, let's go. Amazing things happening.
Certainly that excitement is palpable, and I can see it on your face. You exude it, and everybody around the country is noticing it. But that's not to say your first few months haven't encountered some adversity and some challenges. I mean, the day you were officially hired, you came and said, we got to lock down our basketball coach. We got it. And you locked him up to a long-term deal, and he wants to be at BYU. And then the quarterback room gets kind of thrown upside down with something that matters a lot at BYU, and upholding the honor code and working through that. So how have you been able to navigate those challenges and still maintain, like, hey, we are who we are, and we believe in integrity, and the honor code matters? Like, how have you been able to kind of keep that in line with the adversity that comes from it sometimes?
Spencer, adversity makes us stronger. That's just a principle. And when we manage adversity, and we can always look to the positive and the things that we have to be grateful for. I've had an opportunity to be in this position for a couple of months, and I just get super excited about the fact that some incredible things have happened in the 2 months that we've been doing this and we launched into it, that we've had great momentum coming in. But you think about the announcements that have been made. You think about Yegor Demon going number 8 in the NBA draft and telling the world how he feels about BYU. You think about Kevin Young choosing BYU. I think about Kalani Sitake on a couple of occasions choosing BYU. Like, when they've had opportunities to go, and they're choosing BYU. If that doesn't get Cougar Nation excited, that the best coaches in the world are choosing BYU, the student athletes are choosing BYU, I just get excited, because adversity is going to come. But it's how we handle it. The other part of this that's great is we're not on an island by ourselves. We have incredible leadership at the university level, starting with President Reese, Keith Borking, all the way up the line to our board of trustees. Like, everybody's aligned in the mission of this great university. So when adversity hits, there's great conversation that happens. There's great care for the individual. There's great care for the human element. And you want to handle these things. You can't forget the human element. We're dealing with people's lives, and you just want to help them prepare to go make a difference in the world, wherever that may be. But when they come to BYU, it's our responsibility to help them along their path in preparation for what's going to come after football, what's going to come after sport. And what we want to do is prepare them to go out and make a huge difference in the world and bring positive light to what we feel is the reason we're doing this, is to bring light to the Savior, Jesus Christ. That's who we are at the core. And that's super exciting, and it bodes well for the future of BYU Athletics.
BYU Athletic Director Brian Santiago is on BYU Sports Nation. You're the ultimate competitor. And again, you just talked about working through adversity. If you are, and I'm not telling you to step on the coach's toes at all here, but you're a great motivator. So if you're in that quarterback's room and you're looking at Trayson Bourget and McKay Hillstead and Bear Bachmeyer and the opportunity that's in front of them, what's your message to those guys as they battle it out to be the starting quarterback at an institution like BYU with the history of great quarterbacks that they have?
4 words. We believe in you. I think those are 4 of the most powerful words. We've been taught that by one of our great coaches at BYU. But I would also tell them, And not only do we believe in you, but fellas, walk into that room with those other 120 guys and look around. You got a brotherhood that's going to rally around you like never before. You got a Cougar Nation that's going to rally around you like never before. And if we're going to face this challenge, we're going to face it together. Unified, let's go. And as I say, vamos, we got this. That's what I'd say to them.
I know that this is a loaded question, but with the evolving culture of college sports, rev share in place, NIL shifting, obviously BYU has great support from those groups and the boosters and the alumni base. How do you sustain it, not just for a year or 2 years, but for the foreseeable future and make this a long-standing thing where you feel like BYU is going to be competitive for a long time in those regards?
We're blessed at BYU to be partnered with the very, very best corporate sponsors and companies in the world that are invested in BYU for who we are, and a Cougar Nation and a fan base that wants to invest in the student athletes. I've been asked a lot the last several weeks about, Brian, what does the athletic department need? What do you need from us? And it's a real simple answer. We need you to invest in the student athletes and to continue investing in the student athletes in their lives, because if we invest in our student athletes, if we invest in our coaches, if every day everything we do is to lift, build, and empower these student athletes and coaches, the long-term sustainability of what we're building is going to continue to grow and be better and better and better. And we're super fortunate that we've built something special, but what we're going to continue building is even going to be more special, because I really believe people want to invest in the individual lives of these student athletes, and that's something that I think will prove long-term sustainable as we chase greatness. I have to say, the other thing that comes to mind is I'm so impressed with our coaches, and I'm not just talking about our head coaches. Like, we have some of the most phenomenal assistant coaches, people that can lead out. I just started thinking about those quarterbacks, like how fortunate they are to have Aaron Roderick in the room, how fortunate they are to have guys like Fesi Satake, all these incredible coaches that are going to lead our team forward. I think about all of our sports. It gets me excited because you want to be led by great people that really know how to coach and help these student athletes chase their dreams. So I just think the long-term sustainability is right where it needs to be, because we've planned well, we have great leaders, and we're going to manage our resources the right way.
Brian Santiago on BYU Sports Nation. I just think about what BYU's done with a minimal share of TV revenue. So how will the full allotment that BYU is now positioning to receive from TV revenues and whatnot help you moving forward, knowing what you did when you were working with not a full bag of chips?
Yeah, it's one of the strengths of BYU. We've always managed resource well. I think that principle comes from the church, our sponsoring institution. And so I think as we move forward and more resources become available, we're already prepared, because we're going to make sound decisions, and we're going to use those resources wisely to reinvest in not only our programs, but to invest in the right people. I've said it a few times. If we continue to invest resource in the right people, the right leaders, and the right student athletes, we're going to be able to continue to tell the world our story through the remarkable lives of these student athletes and coaches. And so that's what we're passionate about. And I'm super grateful to be part of a team in athletics and at the university where we've already planned for these times. We're way ahead of the game when it comes to managing our resources and planning well, so that when the whole landscape of college athletics switches and shifts, and let's be honest, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when none of us could have imagined this, but on the horizon we could see some of these things coming, and we've prepared well for it. We have a great team put together and we're going to continue to invest in the right people. And as we do that, I think Cougar Nation will be excited about what happens.
Speaking of teams, how is your staff coming along? Because I know you've got some pieces that you're very carefully trying to place around you as you begin this new part of your own career. So how close are you to finding and solidifying your team?
Yeah, we're really excited. We're getting closer. I talk about investing in people. We're going to elevate some of the great people internally. We're going to bring some help in from external places. And I mentioned this before, we're going to continue to empower women. We need to continue to put some strong women in leadership where we can really make a difference in the lives of these student athletes. I think we'll hopefully be ready to announce something here in the next 2-3 weeks.
Other than watching your Yankees play on occasion this offseason and go through their own adversity and struggles, what else are you trying to do to catch your breath before the grind starts in August?
Well, first and foremost, the Yankees will be fine. They're going to come out of it, I believe. Adversity comes. But, Spencer, it's a fair question. I've been all in since this announcement happened, just trying to make sure we keep the momentum going and make sure that we stay strong in the areas we need to stay strong in. And I haven't had much time other than a little bit of time. What I'm really enjoying is going on walks at all hours of the night, sometimes late with my wife. I go on a walk with her every night, which is something I look forward to. And that's about what I've had time for. Try to stay in touch with my children and have my calling on Sundays in the stake presidency, so my Sundays are busy. But it's interesting, I found myself looking forward to Sundays and the perspective that I get when I can focus on the things that matter most. So that's what I've been spending my time doing, and I'm super excited for this fall and for opening kickoff and to get back and get the focus back on these incredible coaches and players that we have.
Well, I appreciate you carving out a significant chunk of time in your busy schedule here, because I know how busy you are. Well, I mean, we have to finish with this. How are the conversations with your good friend, one of your best friends, Tom Homo, these days?
Now you're going to get me emotional. Tom and I just have such a sweet relationship. We communicate often. He's been such a good mentor to me, really helped prepare me for this time. And, we've had a chance. We went to the track championships together and got to spend 2 days together. Our conversations are super meaningful. And his just sound guidance when I've had to reach out to him a couple of times, it's just priceless. And so I'm really excited that he's close, that we'll be able to continue to navigate this, and he'll always be part of the team. We've always been kind of joined at the hip, and I don't see that changing into the future. There's nobody I value more professionally in his mentorship and leadership than Tom, and super grateful for how he helped prepare me for this time and how supportive he's been. People ask me all the time, is Tom still there in the office? I said, well, Tom, the day of my announcement, threw me the keys and made sure that I knew that he was with me, and has sailed off with his family into retirement. And it's, in a way, it's empowered me to be able to move forward in our department, to know that there really is a new wave, and I'm excited to get our leadership team in place so that we can do this together.
Brian, great stuff. I hope amidst your walks at night with your lovely wife, Kim, when you get home, there's still some time for some ice cream, because I know you got that sweet tooth, brother.
Yeah, everybody knows that I have an issue with ice cream. But you know what? You always need a little sweet to end the day, right?
Nothing wrong with an 11 p.m. ice cream, okay?
You got to have a little sweet at the end of the day. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian.
Appreciate you.